Not the TV guide.
Not the TV guide.
Not the TV guide. Welcome back to part 2 of Not the TV Guide.
Who's sponsoring this podcast, Grant?
Lidl's finest penguin and seal bar knockoffs. Arctic bars.
Oh, if people were main managers had two of them each, or one each.
Yeah, feel free to send them to us by the box load.
Yes, please. Yeah. We will pass them out equally among our podcast team, and the more the merrier.
Yeah.
Right.
40 for me, and the rest, about the other 10 shared with everyone else.
Like, is all I'm going to say. Now, the first programme, obviously, second half, is nothing to do with that at all. And it's the second programme this episode that all four of us have watched. Despite the fact I was hoping that Grant would have watched everything this month, he hasn't done. Well, unless he's lied to me again, I don't think he has. Grant, have you seen Daredevil Born Again?
I have, yes, and
I'm going to let you take it away, Grant. What is Daredevil Born Again about then?
Well, Daredevil Born Again is basically a revived version of the Netflix show Daredevil. That wasn't under control by Marvel Studios. It was done by their television division. Now it's Marvel have the full rights to do the Daredevil character now, and they've decided to kind of a soft reboot, isn't it? Really, in Disney for their Disney Plus streaming site. So originally, I think it was going to be a bit more toned down Daredevil. It's still the same kind of same actors involved, but then. When the acting strike happened and the writer's strike happened, they kind of rejigged it and they got one of the original screenwriters from The Punisher to take over, and then it got more kind of violent and The Punisher came into it, and so I've seen one or two of the Netflix version of it, so I wasn't like the biggest Daredevil TV fan, so it was all quite new to me, to be honest with you. But at first, it was kind of like I was getting into the kind of like procedural of it because he was giving up the Daredevil costume at the beginning of the show, but I felt like once we got to like say episode 6, I felt like the show really got going with like the Kingpin storyline with him being the mayor of New York, and then it kind of escalated, and then and I felt the last 2 episodes particularly were brilliant, really good, very violent as well. Some of that one of the Kingpin's deaths, one of Kingpin killed one of his rivals by what he did to his mouth. I've never. Oh, that was just horrible to watch. Yeah, but no, I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really, really good series.
Beth, did you know they shot 6 episodes before they got rid of the 2 showrunners, and it was going to be a romantic comedy? Would you believe originally?
Oh my gosh! Well, I did not know that, but I'm sorry to say that I think I might actually personally have preferred it if it was a romantic comedy. I wasn't the biggest fan, I won't lie. I went into
really?
Yeah, I went into it kind of thinking, I'll probably quite like this because I like superhero things. I've watched like I think it was the original like Marvel Daredevil film that came out in like the early 2000s.
Oh, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I think I liked that. So I kind of thought, this will probably be quite up my street, but I'll be honest, I didn't really know what was going on half the time. I found it very, very difficult to follow. And I assumed that was just because I haven't seen like the first series, Daredevil that was on Netflix. But now that you've said that this was kind of meant to be like a soft reboot, you haven't really watched like the Netflix series either. So people are sort of supposed to be able to go into this without having seen the original Daredevil series. Now that you've said that, I'm even more like, if this was meant to be a soft reboot, I thought it was very poor in that case, because I thought it was extremely difficult to follow if you hadn't seen the previous series. It felt very much like this is the second series of a show, and I'm mixing a lot because I haven't seen, the first series. So I found it quite sort of long and laborious at times, trying to keep up with all the different plots and figure out who everyone was. I don't think they sort of explained who the characters were very well. Obviously I got the basics, but I felt like I didn't feel like it did a very good job of kind of if I'm meant to be able to just go into it and understand it, I don't think it did a very good job of sort of like, you know, introducing me to the characters and stuff and sort of getting me invested in the storyline. There were definitely elements of it that I liked, but it was a little bit lost on me. A lot of the sort of intricacies of the plot and the sort of dynamics between the characters that clearly already knew each other. And so yeah, I don't know how I feel about it as a soft reboot, but I thought it was very well produced. Like there were some good action scenes, you know, some good characters. And I agree, like the last 2 episodes, it definitely picked up. So I did definitely enjoy elements of it, but yeah, I thought there could have been maybe more action as well. So it wasn't the best for me.
I'm going to ask Amanda. Amanda knows what I'm going to ask her now, doesn't she, Amanda?
Is this about a certain miserable superhero?
Are you going to tell people who we were talking about there? Because I know you like him as that role, right?
Yeah, well, I like the whole sort of relationship between the Punisher and Karen. And it's like nothing's ever going to happen, but it's just he's got a soft spot for her, and she's obviously got a soft spot for him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, now for people who know the Punisher series, it's the Punisher himself. He's a vigilante, obviously, that's got major hang-ups over various criminal elements that wiped out his family. So he's a little bit damaged goods, as you could argue there, possibly, right? But yeah. So, Amanda, talk us through what you liked about Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah, so apart from that, I think I like the bad guys as well. The bad guys were really scary. That Muse was
that Muse,
that Muse
was
terrifying.
Yeah.
What do you think to Muse, Beth? Did you like that Muse character? It's pretty horrible,
Yeah,
wasn't
he was pretty vile. But again, I felt like he was just kind of introduced at the last minute out of the blue.
He wasn't a character I knew. It's a fairly new villain to honest that one it was. So yeah. But listen, let me ask Amanda. Back to Amanda, sorry. Amanda, what else did you like about the series? Sorry.
As well. Fisk was a really good bad guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Vincent
when you start to think he might be doing something good and then he just does something like the worst thing you've ever seen.
He's absolutely terrifying. He's got that. I don't know if anyone's seen any interviews of him. He's like this in real life. He's just, when you interviews him, he's got that sort of edge about him. No, he's as a man, he's a very intense man. You could say that. He's a very good actor in it. But obviously, this is just like they always say, acting is yourself just turning up the notch by, say, 20 degrees. And he's scared the shit out of me for the full of that series he did every time he came on screen. But you're right. So, was there anything else you really liked about it, Amanda, before we carry on?
No, there was a few things that confused me as well. But the main thing was when Daredevil stepped in front of Fisk to save his life, and I was like, why did you do that? Like the easy option would just be to let him get a shot and solve your problems.
Never got my head around that scene as well, because people, that's the end of episode 8 it was, and I was sat there thinking, why has he done that? Yeah, the trouble with the series was, when they were getting rid of the original showrunners, it was either 5 or 6 episodes filmed, it was going to be complicated what they did. Because there was a character in it called White Tiger, who was in it for 2 episodes. He died in real life after the series was finished. So they couldn't necessarily do a lot with those scenes. So I can understand why Beth struggled with this, because they brought in new showrunners who basically had to try and tidy up what had happened in the first series already, because a good chunk of it had been shot. So it was an awkward one for me, to be honest. It was. Yeah. I really enjoyed it, but it was an awkward one because I knew the characters.
I think the second series could be better because now they've got this first series out of the way. You know, they've got it ended up quite a good cool cliffhanger, didn't it, with all the vigilantes getting kicked around. And Wilson Fisk is now fully evil now as it's mayor. So I think it's got potential to be really, really good. And they hinted about bringing the Defenders back, haven't they? Because they
got the character Iron Fist in it. I'm going to recommend to Beth, when this comes up, go and watch the first season of Jessica Jones, because Kirsten Ritter's been confirmed to come in it. Because David Tennant's in the baddie. And, have you not seen that, Grant, have you, the first season of Jessica Jones?
No, I haven't. No, not
You've got to watch that.
That's been on my list for a while, to be fair.
Yeah.
I do like superhero series. So.
Well, you I don't want to give too much away with it. And that was the best series of Jessica Jones. The other two were good, but not as good. But that first season, because David Tennant is absolutely full psychopath mode. He's like playing it as a psychotic Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting.
He really does.
Yeah.
Amanda, what do you
He's
think? Am
Purple
I
Man,
right
is
with
that
that,
his
Amanda?
character?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
the Purple Man or something.
Purple
Is that
Man,
his
yeah.
character? Yeah,
And the
yeah.
stuff that went off screen and that, what Jessica Jones doing was disgusting. It was. I'm not
Really?
talking in a nice way. It was the
Yeah.
character in the comics was foul, and they amplified it just perfect in the TV series. It was
right.
incredible. I do recommend, because I believe Luke Cage, Power Man's coming in it as well, and the first season of is really good as well. And apparently Iron Fist is due back in it as well.
Oh God, no! Please no.
Don't watch
I've got a
that.
few Power Man comics from the 70s.
Yeah, don't watch. Do not get hold of the Iron Man TV series. Unfortunately, everybody.
Oh, I tried to watch that. I turned it off after 5 minutes. It was horrible.
Yeah. Well, he walking on stage and I am the immortal Iron Fist, and I'm starting to think, fuck off. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm still not 100% clear what his superpower is.
Oh, yeah, it's just got a shiny fist, doesn't it?
Yeah, shiny fist in his complete blim plonker.
Yeah.
That sounds like it's a different kind of TV show, to be honest.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. Yeah.
God, yeah. So anyway, I said to you, that's Amanda, we're not going to go down that path anymore, are we? Right? Because the program will get taken off the air if you do the alternative version of Iron Fist. Now, I've got nothing else I want to say about this, John. She's part of my. I'm looking forward to season 2 because I felt it was one of those ones. It was a setup, really.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I think the second season is going to be really good. Beth, do you think you'll go back to watch, say, season 2?
Possibly. What I might do is I might go and watch the Marvel series and see if that kind of, clears things up for me. And then if that kind of makes it all make a bit more sense, then I might watch series 2.
Yeah. You might want to watch the Defenders TV series. That's been the case because that's where, because definitely Jessica Jones is in it. And I think personally Luke Cage is going to be coming in it. And if he comes in it, because he's already been sending it to say message on Twitter to the guy who played Danny Rand, Power Man, saying, my brother. So, yeah, I think they're both going to be in it.
Are most of these on Netflix?
They're all on Disney Plus now.
Disney Plus now. Disney Plus now.
Yeah,
they
so
were
like,
in Netflix, but the contract ran out, so they came off it.
Yeah.
So
I need to get Disney Plus, really, because I feel like a lot's on there.
Yeah.
Well, it's worth. I'm probably going to rewatch Jessica Jones, if I'm honest with you, so because I want to see David Tennant again.
On there.
Yeah, so anyway, let's give this a mark and move on. Now, I'm going to go with the Duff mark first of all, because I don't think Beth's going to give us a particularly high mark. So, Beth, what are you going to give us out of 10?
I would say like a 6.5. I can see it's like a good series if you kind of understand it more. I mean, part of it is just me not following it particularly well. So I can see it's well made and well acted, and like I did appreciate, a lot of the plot. I just kind of felt like it didn't really fully come together for me.
Amanda?
I'd give it a 7.
Oh, I thought Amanda was going to say more because I saw her eyes light up when John Bethel came in as the Punisher. I thought, that's why, particularly when particularly when you get the scene at the end of episode 4, was it? When the guy that played White Tiger gets murdered by somebody in a Punisher's t-shirt, and I was on Amanda's face, that's not my Punisher.
No, you wouldn't do that.
No.
Right. Grant, what are you going to give us out of 10?
I'll give it an 8. I really enjoyed it. I think I'm with Beth a bit about not following every kind of storyline that I had from the previous ones, but I think because I just knew the characters quite well from the comic books, I knew what Wilson Fisk was like and their relationship, so I kind of had a bit of a shorthand on it. But one thing I would like to say, if I forgot to mention, is that I really enjoyed that kind of bottle episode that was in the bank. I thought that was really fun. When he was using his powers. Yeah, that was quite a really cool use of the TV format, isn't it? When you can just have a fun episode like that, and he's just and it had the dad from Miss Marvel, because I enjoyed Miss Marvel. I don't know if you ever seen it, but the Miss Marvel show was quite fun. Was pretty fun, and he was a really good character in it. So I liked that he had these Miss Marvel Funko Pop and stuff. I thought that was cute.
Well, apparently that
episode was probably my favourite as well.
Oh yeah, it was really fun. Yeah.
Interesting enough, out the original showrunners TV shows, that one didn't get touched. They left it alone the way it was.
Yeah, it was just fine as it was. Yeah, so I'd say an 8 out of 10. I think it's got started well, and I think I'm really looking forward to series 2. It's coming
February
next
apparently
year.
next year.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so looking forward to that. Yeah, be good.
I'm going to go for 8.5 because I said it was a slow burner. It was a slow burner, but I think next second season will be great. And there's rumours going around they're going to do a season 3 apparently as well.
Yeah.
Because the big rumour going around, Spider-Man's coming into this apparently season 2. It's some kind of role. Because he's got a new film out next year, and the rumour going around is either going to be linked into the Avengers films or the Kingfish story. They're not. The big rumours go around both sides on that, so we'll see. Right. Okay, on to something now, as Monty Python would say, and now for something completely different. Grant, what is your other solo program this month you've watched?
I watched the White Lotus series 3. So I've watched the previous 2 series of White Lotus. So basically, if you've not seen it before, it's like an anthology series. So it was originally just set in a hotel in Hawaii in the first series. It had quite a few big names in it. Like Sydney Sweeney was in it before she was quite famous, and it had quite a few kind of actors that were quite A-list stars that are in it. But then it was a really funny show because basically it's basically rich people being their absolute worst selves pretty much on holiday, and it's just kind of like laughing at how awful they are. And then there's always a murder as well in every series. So it's kind of a murder mystery as well. So you're trying to find out who got murdered. But so the first series did really well. They made a second series and it was set in Italy, and that was a really, really fun show. And then this is the third series, and this is set in Thailand. So it's because it's in Thailand, it's got more like these kind of rich celebrities trying to find wellness and spirituality, kind of a bit like what Noel Edmonds is doing now. I don't know if you've seen the advert for his new show. Have you seen that?
No, refresh my memory.
It's called Noel Edmonds' Kiwi Adventure. He's opening a wellness centre in. I'm sorry, I've had to say I'm going to watch it for next episode. It looks awful.
Yeah. Okay, we all need a bit of crap in our lives, right? So, Grant, can you do me a favour? Put this in our group chat. So that way, then I can at least watch an episode of it and have a turn around and say, yes, it is crap.
I'll send you the link to it. Yeah, the trailer for it. Yeah, it looks.
Do you want to watch an episode of it as well, man? Just we say it's crap.
Maybe not.
Right. So obviously, with White Lotus season 3, then Grant, who was the main people in the series then?
Okay, so it had there's certain families that are there. So one of the families was led by Jason Isaac and Parker Posey. They were like playing this kind of rich stockbroker, and then his wife is just always on like drugs, and anxiety pills all the time. And they had 3 insufferable kids. One of them was played by Patrick Schwarzenegger, from Gen V.
Yeah.
He was like sex obsessed, and he was just trying to shag everyone. That's all. Yeah, they're all quite sexy as well. They're all the show. Everyone is quite good look, really good looking on it. So everyone's trying to shag each other at this hotel all the time. And, so he was on it, and his brother, and then he had his sister was trying to be a Buddhist, so she wanted to go to the Buddhist temple. So they had their storyline. But what happened was they find out that Jason Isaac's character is going to get embezzled for like fraud because he embezzled loads of money back in the day, and now his partner's been caught out by the police, and now they're going to lose all their money. So basically he spends the whole series thinking about killing himself and all his family. So it gets quite dark. I'm not going to tell you how it happens, but yeah, so he spends the whole series basically thinking of ways to kill his family. So it gets quite dark.
No, you know something over here. Grant was moaning at Bondsman is too dark.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But what I kind of enjoyed about it, it was quite a lot and then there's 3 like middle-aged women who are having like a girls' holiday, but then they kind of reveal themselves that they kind of secretly hate each other behind each other's back. So whenever one of them goes to bed, they kind of overhear the other 2 slagging them off because one's come out as they're not seeing each other for years, and then one of them's come out as a Trump supporter and stuff like that, and then one of them's like a shallow like TV actress who's now having an affair with someone on the hotel and stuff like that. So, and they're all slagging her off behind her back and all of it. So, yeah, it's all like that. And then there's another couple who are, do you know Walton Goggins, who's in Fallout? He plays the ghoul. He's in
I do. I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going out with a younger woman played by Amy Lou Wood, the Manchester actress. She's in it, and so they have he's just kind of a bit of a bum, but he's quite rich, but he's trying to find out who killed his dad. And so yeah, he goes on a bit of a revenge mission because the hotel owner is apparently the person who killed his dad. So yeah, so he goes on a bit of a revenge mission. So there's a lot going on really, but it's pretty crazy things that go on in the hotel. But it's just very funny. It's just quite satirical. It's just slagging off rich people, and they're awful. That even though they've got all this money and this, they're all miserable. That's the kind of they're all miserable and unhappy, and they just don't know how to live a normal life. To be honest with you, so it's yeah, and all the characters are pretty unlikable, but it's just you're just kind of watching their downfall, really. So yeah, but it's not probably the weakest of the three I've watched so far, but it was still a very good show. And one thing I laughed about it as well because they're in Thailand and they're in a bar and there's literally all these old 60-year-old guys balding. And they've all got these incredibly attractive wives who are like 20 years old. And they were like, we call them LBHs. And they'll go, what's that mean? Losers back home. I thought that was funny. But it's quite funny because I have someone I used to be friends with who's moved to Vietnam now and he's got himself a younger wife. And it's like, it just made me think of him, but someone I used to know. So I was like, God. So yeah, but no, it's really, really well acted, really well written. It's written by Mike White, who did 6 Feet Under, I think, and
yeah,
he did School of Rock. He wrote School of Rock as well. So it's really well written. It's really funny, and but I'd say watch like the first 2 series first, because you don't have to. They're anthologies that you can just watch. But certain characters pop around, so who were in the first one that come back in the third one, and then so some. There's only been one character who's been in all 3 of them, but. So it's interesting, but so really, 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 it's just it's beautiful as well. When you look at Thailand, it's just great. All these little monkeys jumping around the place and stuff. Yeah, it just looks like such a beautiful part of the world. But there's just all these dickheads running around, causing chaos. But it's a really, really fun series. I recommend it.
Cool. Amanda or Beth, have you two got anything else you want to ask Grant about the series?
No, I think he's described it really well. I still don't want to watch it.
I was going to say, I feel like rich people slagging each other off does not sound like my idea of fun particularly, but it does sound interesting, definitely.
Yeah, cool. It's really funny. It's really well written. So I think they're just obnoxious people. So you just want them to have horrible things happen to them. To be honest with you, so
isn't it like The Apprentice in that sense?
It's a bit like The Apprentice, actually. Yeah,
I was just thinking. It just sounded
like The Apprentice and Love Island combined or something.
Well, maybe I will have to watch it then. I don't know.
I don't think I will. Having Love Island's put me right off. To be honest, yeah. So, but anyway, Grant, what are you going to give this out of 10, mate?
Oh, I'll give it an 8. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Brilliant stuff, mate. Okay, right. Now it's over to Beth now, because Beth's got not 1, 2 programs you're going to do back to back for us now, Beth, haven't you? Obviously, you're going to keep them separate programs. If you did both these programs and decided the same one merged together, it'd be very strange. Now, first of all, Beth, you've seen, people wondering, we saw Laugh a Lol last time, me, Grant, and Amanda did, but you hadn't seen it, Beth, had you? So you've seen it now then, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really funny. I feel like it should have almost been like longer though, because I feel like the idea of like, comedians trapped in a house together trying to make each other laugh, they almost could have turned it into like more of a prolonged Big Brother type situation.
Yeah, true.
I think it would have been interesting to kind of expand it, but I think it worked in the format that it was in, and it is really funny. Just the idea of like comedians having to try and make each other laugh, and they're not allowed to laugh. It's a very simple concept, but it is really funny. And as we were saying last time, like Danny Dyer's like cameo in it was brilliant. So
it's amazing.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was just some light-hearted entertainment, really, isn't it? It was a good show. There's all sorts of them though. I think there's a Laugh Out Loud Island one.
Yeah, Amanda's the expert in this, Beth. I don't
Yeah.
know. Have you reviewed these, Amanda, for us?
No, I haven't. I've seen the Irish one and the Australian one, the Canadian one. I tried to
Oh
watch the
God,
German one, but because it's
in
sort of
German.
visual humor, I couldn't really concentrate on like what they were doing on screen and read the subtitles at the same time.
Oh,
So I kind of missed. I didn't pick up everything.
Now, which one of these, Amanda, for Beth's interest, was the worst? Not talking about the most unfunny, the most shocking. 'Cause one of them really stunned
The
you, didn't it?
Australian one is like by the end of it, well, it was pretty out there to start with, but by the end of it, it was just like really like gross, vulgar humor. And at one point, there's
Oh,
like an old fat guy with a mustache who's completely naked in a paddling pool and they're throwing bottles of Fanta all over him.
really? Which one was that one?
The
Australia.
Australian one.
Oh, I was going to say Aussie one.
only
Yeah.
only in Australia.
Yeah, the Germans are too sophisticated for that.
And if you saw the state of the room, I was thinking, I'm glad I'm not the cleaner after this because the
Oh
room
God,
was just
yeah.
awful. It's like all sorts of stuff everywhere, and I didn't want to know what half of it was.
I remember you telling me about that, Amanda. God almighty. And what was the Canadian one like? Just so Beth knows as well.
Um, it was pretty tame compared to all of that. I mean, anything would be, wouldn't it?
What was
Oh,
the German one like? Because I know it might be a stereotype, but I just can't really imagine Germans having that great a sense of humour. Like,
No, I didn't really laugh at it, but I gave up after 15 minutes because I was trying to read the subtitles. And I'm missing what they're actually doing here, and that's probably
yeah,
half of the humor. So I couldn't
fair.
really do it.
oh, it says it all. People wonder, like I said to you, that one. But yeah, now obviously we've done double reviews at the same time here, so I don't know how we're going to mark this. Amanda, have you got any marks you want to do about the foreign ones of laugh out loud or lol?
No, not so much.
Yeah, fair enough. And Beth, what would you give it lol and out of 10 then?
Oh, I'd give it an eight, eight and a
Mm.
half.
Yeah.
I think the format could have been changed slightly. I don't quite know how, but I think they could have made
Yeah.
more of it
I have
somehow.
to ask you, did Danny Dyer steal the show for you?
He did, I have
Oh,
to say, he
fucking
did. I thought he was
outstanding that
so
was.
good. I thought he was
If I was
brilliant.
in there, I'd just laugh straight away the moment he put his Dumbledore glasses on.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
not a Harry
I
Potter
wouldn't be able
fan,
to
and
control myself.
I saw Amanda's face for that, and it was just, Amanda, you loved that bit, didn't you? It lost you.
Yeah, I was cracking up with the whole Harry Potter thing.
Yeah.
I'll never be to watch Harry Potter again now.
Yeah.
It's like, because I never really rated him before that. And Grant, you told us off, Mike, didn't you? You thought he was brilliant in EastEnders, didn't you? Because you watched EastEnders for a
Yeah,
bit,
yeah,
didn't
it's
you?
good. He's actually done like theatre work. He's a qualified, actor. Yeah, he can act. So yeah, and he was so good in Rivals, wasn't he? So
Outstanding. But then he just, I loved him in Rivals, but Danny Dyer being Danny Dyer in LOL then was just incredible. He just
yeah,
absolutely,
brilliant.
and I don't know how he didn't get rid of two for half that cast then of the comedians he
I
came and did
know.
what he did because I lost it.
I
And
know.
big style on that I did. It was like phenomenal. But anyway, conscious of the time, we'll wrap up part two with Beth's other thing. Quilters, it's the one-off documentary you've watched. What
Yes.
is Quilters?
Yeah, so basically, long story short, I watched this because I have, for whatever reason, joined a quilting group, of which I am the youngest member by at least 40 years. So it's me and the girls who I love them dearly, Eileen
Oh,
and Doreen and all of the Geraldine, all of the girls at quilting. Shout out to them. And yeah, they're helping me make a quilt because out of
oh,
my old t-shirts. But anyway, they found this program on Netflix because obviously they're into quilting. So when it came up on Netflix, they watched it. Yeah, it's just a one-off documentary called The Quilters. And it's about this high security prison in America where they've introduced this program for a small selection of inmates where they basically they make quilts for children in the foster care system and like young mothers, like for mothers and baby homes, essentially. And it was quite, I think it was like a cause quite close to the hearts of all of us at Chawton Quilters, because the quilts that they make there go to Project Linus, which is a charity in the UK that does a similar thing, that donates quilts to children in foster care and hospitals and stuff. So I think that's why a lot of the women at Chawton Quilters watched it. But I was recommended it, and it was so fascinating, because it was sort of weirdly uplifting and also really quite sad at the same time, because a lot of these men, I mean, you sort of kind of can't help thinking, should they really be here? Because one of the requirements of taking part in the quilting program is that they can't have any bad behavior on their record. As soon as they have any kind of, bad behavior in the prison, they get kicked out of the program. So one of the requirements of them being there is that they've proven themselves to not be, violent towards guards or anything like that. And a lot of them have got life sentences, and they're in there for crimes that they committed when they were like 18, 19, and they're now in their, 50s, 60s, and they're still in there. And, obviously they've committed some quite heinous crimes, otherwise they wouldn't be there. But it doesn't go into too much detail about what the crimes were, but they're not, it did, I think it had a statement saying that it wasn't rape or anything like that. I think it said that at the start of the program, that they hadn't been, not that it really matters, I guess, but I think they said they weren't in there for rape or paedophilia, I think it said. But so I don't know what exactly their crimes were, but you kind of get the sense of like, is this not, you can't help thinking, is this not a bit of a waste of like prison resources at this point? Because a lot of these men just really don't seem like they're going to be a danger to society if they're let out. And in fact, they really do, want to be productive. They want to do good. They want to contribute to society in a meaningful way. And they've kind of, one of them said, I did the crime, I'm going to do my time. You have to face the consequences of your actions. But you can't help thinking, do they really deserve to be here at this point after like 40 odd years? And it was quite tragic in a way, because when you look at the sort of the work that they were producing, these amazing quilts, and they've developed a real skill that they're putting to use. They're all fantastic at using sewing machines and everything now, and they've got a real sort of eye for fabrics and stuff, because they've been doing it for years, and they've sort of, this is the only thing that kind of keeps them going. And it was just a really sort of strange blend of like a fantastic program, but also, kind of bittersweet, because should they really be there? I mean, who knows? It was a really interesting documentary, really interesting characters that are kind of in the program, and just a really fascinating watch.
Amanda, is there any questions you want to ask Beth about this?
Oh, it sounds really interesting.
Yeah, the other question I've got, and we'll double check Grant, whether Grant's got anything in a second as well, is how long is it, Beth?
It's only half an hour.
It's only half an hour?
Oh, right. So,
yeah.
Oh, so I made a note of that then, because half an hour, like I said, that's not a lot. It's a very short program, that. Usually Netflix, they don't normally have like half an hour programs on. That's what you caught me out with that then.
Yeah. I originally thought it was a series, but it was actually only a one-off. Yeah. So
right.
Wow. Brand, is there anything you want to ask Beth about this?
Yeah, I just want to know what got you into quilting.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
So basically, it's a bit of a ridiculous thing, but I just decided that I wanted to make. I actually got the idea from the Twilight films, funnily enough.
Oh, really?
Bella's mum. So in the last Twilight film, Bella's mum makes her a quilt, out of all of her old t-shirts as a graduation present. And recently I kind of realized that I've got all of these old like novelty t-shirts that I don't wear anymore. I kind of wear them as pajama tops, but I won't really wear them in the house anymore. And they're all sort of old and stained anyway. So, and I was like, I don't really want to get rid of them because they've got like sentimental value.
Yeah.
Equally, I'm never going to wear them again. And then I kind of remembered the Twilight films, and I was like, oh, I want to make a quilt out of them, but I have absolutely no idea how to go about making a quilt. Yeah. I've never done it. I've never done that before. But then I spotted there was Chiltern Quilters like in my area, and I was like, I just sent them an email like, don't suppose you can help me make a quilt out of t-shirts? And they were like, yeah, come along. And like, I was like, probably not your typical member. I'm only 25, so like, I might be a little bit younger, but can you help me make a quilt? And they were all like, yeah. Wow. So I just went along, and yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. It needs young blood, isn't it?
Yeah.
It shows you really like, oh God, it shows you honestly that people understand. We've known you, Beth, for about 6 months really, and it's getting to the stage where like it's great because as we're getting to know each other as a team, we're still really surprising each other. Because I stunned Beth when we did All FM, didn't you? Like you didn't know I like reggae music, and you wouldn't know Amanda is absolutely loony in country music.
Yeah. Oh wow, fab.
So that's why, but yeah, I know. Oh, great. So I was just really interested in that. Beth, obviously, give us a mark for this one to wrap up part 2
then. I would give it a 9. I think it could have been longer, and I would have liked to have heard, a bit more about where these guys kind of ended up, what happened next kind of thing. I mean, probably nothing much did happen. They were all just kind of carrying on with with their quilting, but I kind of wanted an update in a way. So
yeah.
No, sounds great to me, that, Beth. So you've swung it for me to win Amanda to watch that, because definitely so. Right, folks. Yeah, unfortunately, we've run over here as I expected. We've still got 2 more programs to go through, so we're going to take another quick break, and we will see you all in 2 minutes' time.
Not the TV guide.
Not the TV guide.
Not the TV guide.